today's video, we're going to be letting AI map this car with MHD. So how this is going to work, we're going to let ChatGPT choose what map to use, all the features in MHD, and it's going to do it all for me. Is it going to choose stage 1, stage 2, or stage 2 plus, and all the other verbal settings? It's going to be a really interesting video, so let's get into it. You all really liked the previous video I did on this, where I let ChatGPT analyze the data logs of this N55. If you want to see the video, it's up in one of the corners now. I'd really recommend you check it out. It was a good one. However, let's not hang around anymore. I'll jump into the screen recording. We'll get the MHD adapter plugged in, get it connected to the phone, see what it wants us to do, and see what tune it thinks is going to be best. Is it going to be better than what I decide for myself, or what a professional tuner would choose? Another quick thing, if you guys enjoy this video or type of content and you want to see more on the M235i, make sure you're subscribed. It's free. And also give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. First things first, we've got to actually plug the MHD adapter into our OBD port so that we can connect it to the phone so that we can do the map. So I just keep mine here in the kind of center console. If you are new to these, the writing basically goes on the outside of the chassis, so it's just really easy if you're in the car and you want to be able to find an easy way to plug it in. Once that is on, simply turn the ignition on, make sure all your lights are off, all that kind of stuff, and then you can connect it to your phone, and then you can go into actual MHD and start mapping the car. But for now, we're going to get to the screen recording of what ChatGPT wants us to write to the map. A bit of a warning though, you don't want to go on MHD straight to a stage 2 plus tune if you have the super license without any supporting bolt-on modifications. This is just a little warning. AI is good and all, but it can tell you things which doesn't actually know too much about the supporting bolt-on. So just make sure you have the correct hardware, which I do for the tune, before you actually go and map it, because you could do serious engine damage. Little tip if you are new, when your adapter's plugged in, simply all you have to do is press the ignition once, then go onto your phone's Wi-Fi and connect to the adapter. Here we have what MHD wants us to map to the car. So as you can see, if I scroll down a little bit, it's basically planned out a whole map that we can do. So I'm going to be going through these settings on here real quick, and then we'll implement them in the app. So as you can see, it's suggesting we go straight to a stage 2 plus, which is quite an aggressive tune. I haven't used one of them before. The fuel, 99 RON or octane, which in the UK is either Momentum or Shell V-Power, and obviously the latest version. Top speed limiter, so with BMWs come from the factory with a limiter of 155 miles an hour. You can basically remove that, and as you can see there, cold start noise reduction, I do have that on anyway because the cold start is exceptionally loud. Exhaust flap, it's saying for us to keep in sport in open, so basically open in sport and then closed in other areas of the map, but this is kind of irrelevant because the exhaust valve isn't actually on the car at the rear of the car at the moment. Exhaust burbles, this is quite interesting. So it's saying aggressive in sport and soft in comfort, and then it's saying the duration of 1.2, all these RPMs and stuff like that. So what we'll do, we'll actually do some sound clips of what this sounds like in a second, so stay tuned for that. Apply a linear throttle mapping, this makes a sportier, more natural throttle feel. And the coolant mode, which is basically how cold your coolant temperature stays, so does the water pump basically work overtime to keep the engine cooler, keeps them stable on spirited drives. GTS startup raw adds an aggressive startup bark. We'll be able to try that in just a second, so stay tuned for that. Warm-up timer, don't actually have that, that's more for N54s and other engines. And no lift shift enabled. If you're confident with it, but it is quite scary because you can kind of mess it up sometimes, and it's a bit worrying. And limit power by gears is suggesting we do those percentages there. These are additional hardware recommendations. So I do actually have a downpipe sorted. I do have a 5-inch stepped intercooler. I do have an even-tree panel filter. Charge pipe has been done. Blow-off valve is a Forge Motorsports one. Obviously the actual automatic gearbox flash isn't needed because this car is manual. And these are the performance targets. Quite interesting to see. And where I live, twisty roads and stuff like that, that seems like a good option. So yeah, that's basically what it's sent to do. So let's get into MHD and actually go through these settings. Here we are then in the main menu of MHD itself. I do have the super license, but we're going to go straight to the top option here, Flash AMHD map. And now basically we're just going to fill in all the stuff which MHD decided for us to do. So we're going to go straight down to the stage 2 plus map, which he has advised. And I'm going to select the 95 RON because there's a little bit of fueling difficulties with this. It's kind of confusing. So if you want to see more videos on that, there's some on the channel. But for the sake of this video, we're going to keep it on that. Now we're going to scroll down to the options where we basically can customize the rest of the map. And on here, this is where we can actually go through some of the stuff which MHD has advised. So aftermarket
downpipes, obviously that can stay selected because that's what I have. No lift shift, this was one of the things it mentioned, so we can keep that on. Quite a scary thing to do, but if you're brave enough to try it, it's quite fun. Apply a linear throttle mapping, that's ticked. Remove the top speed limiter, that's also ticked. Basically, it didn't mention anything about the overrun BRAP. I can't actually run that anyway because of the blow-off valve. However, it did mention exhaust burbles, which I'm pretty sure we can just basically play around here of what is selected. So it did say minimum speed, so let's put that down to 3 miles an hour, which is just there. And minimum RPM, I'm pretty sure it said 1500. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to put that up to about 5k. There we go. You can't actually select 1500, I don't think, so 1400 will do. And we don't want anything in basically comfort or eco pro. We only want them in sport. And I'm almost certain it said 1.3 or 1.5 seconds. So let's go for 1.5. Let's make it a bit more fun. And I'm pretty sure it said hard burbles, but I don't want to ruin the turbo, so we'll stick with medium, see what that says. Cold start noise reduction, that's on. And it also said to tick these two options here. Limit power by gear, it mentioned, it said 80% for first gear, I'm almost certain. So if we go to 80%, and then 90% in second, and then we've got 100 for the rest of the gears. Now the coolant mode, this it wanted on higher options, so basically stock keeps it how it comes out the factory. However, sport is just if you're doing basically spirited driving, it's going to lower the temps down quite a bit. And track basically makes the water pump work really hard and tries to keep the coolant temps as low as possible. So we're going to stay with the sport option because that is kind of what I'll be using for the kind of drives that I do. Once you've ticked all these options, you can basically go back on this back option and then we can press map right. I'm actually not going to do it because I'm in the middle of nowhere right now, and the only difficulty with this is I do need a battery charger and I don't want to risk mapping it here and getting stuck. So what I'll do, I'll connect it to a battery charger later and then I will map it, and then basically we'll skip right outside now to me showing you what the car sounds like with the tune. So there we go, I'm now back with the car. I've successfully done the map that ChatGPT or AI has recommended I do. I think it's only best now we start the car up. I set the tripod up, we get a couple sound clips, show you what it sounds like and see what I kind of think of the tune. I could do a report video on this after I've driven it for say a week, maybe make a video and see what I think to AI's map that it decided for me to do. Now for a few intake sounds. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the airbox because it's right there and you can hear the actual blow-off valve itself. I do think the car has to get to a certain temperature before the pop and bangs kind of wait in. So obviously, because I haven't driven far, I let the car warm up on idle for probably 5 minutes. Hopefully then it'll have enough temperature that we can hear the overrun burbles in the sport mode, which MHD has decided for us to do. So yeah, stay tuned, we'll get it in just a second. If you enjoyed the video so far, please consider giving it a thumbs up and leave any comments you have down below if you've enjoyed the video. I've just spent about a solid 10 minutes trying to work out why there's no burbles, and I've just realised it's because I set the minimum speed to 3 miles an hour. So basically the car will do no burbles with the car standing still. It has to be moving, which is a real shame. It took me ages to kind of work this out. It's a bit of a kind of brain fog moment I had. But yeah, you kind of get the sound of it. It sounds really good. Full custom exhaust on this, so really happy with how it sounded. Another little announcement, we're going to the Nürburgring in less than a week and we're taking this. So stay tuned for that. The trip's going to be absolutely amazing and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, apart from that, it just shows you can use AI to use it to map your car. Obviously it hasn't got the facilities to actually map it itself yet. And obviously if you want something done properly,
you're obviously going to want to go to a professional tuner. That is where eventually I do want to take this car to get the best map I can possibly do. But for now, MHD and ChatGPT work. It gives some really good suggestions. AI knows pretty much a lot about the car, but obviously it's not everything in its data log. So that's just something to bear in mind. If you want to have some fun with it, I definitely recommend it. This was just a kind of entertainment video to kind of keep you guys like entertained. Nothing too scientific, just a bit of fun. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Apart from that, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.